Hey guys, welcome back to Say File as Paralegal. My name is Talia if you are new, and if you are returning, thank you so much for coming back. I sure appreciate it. Make sure that you are subscribed and your notifications are on so that you don't miss anything, okay? You guys, today I feel like I have not done a sit down video in a long time, and the last time I did a sit down video, I don't know, but I remember sitting in this desk sitting in this chair telling you guys about leaving my paralegal role that I got out of freshly graduating from a paralegal program, and just telling you guys how completely awful it was and how so much has changed. So I have a little piece of paper here with some key points that I'm going to hit. But today we're doing a paralegal update, switch it up a little bit for Paralegal Tuesday. So we're doing an update. I'm going to shed some light on a lot of things that I've learned and some things that I wish that I had understood better, you know. And we're going to be talking about a lot of things. So grab you a snack, get your coffee, get your tea, get whatever you need to be comfortable so you can watch this all the way through. All right, y'all ready? Okay. So it has been, girl, not me. I graduated with a bachelor's degree in paralegal studies December of 2019. We are now in March of 2022. So, and I still am very confident in the program that I did take. It is still ABA certified. They have not lost their certification for that. And I still feel like that was the best program that I could have chosen. But the workforce, baby, that workforce, the paralegal field, especially in Florida where I live in the Tampa Bay area. The workforce is tough. We're battling a lot of things, and this is just things that I've seen, things that I've personally experienced, interviewing, talking with these places, working in some of these places, interning. And the two biggest things is quality of jobs and pay. Baby, the pay in Florida, it ain't there, okay? So that is super duper unfortunate, especially as a new paralegal. Like, of course you're not expecting to get paid a hell of a lot of money, but you want to be making a livable wage, especially if you're in a small boutique law firm and it's you and one or two other attorneys, and you're responsible for all the things that they're not going to do. Girl, it's a lot. So that's what I was combating then, and up until recently was still doing. So I've been with my current company for a little over a year and a half, and to be exact, maybe like a year and 7 months. It'll be 7 months on the 24th. And I truly enjoy the company that I work for. Their morals align a lot more with align with my morals a lot more than the companies that I've previously worked for. I can see the changes that they are talking about. They are interested in making steps and glides towards inclusion, true inclusion and diversity in a lot of areas, and their efforts towards that. They're also not afraid to have conversations that I feel were like a hush hush. If you guys don't remember, I did vlogs on this during our diversity and inclusion weeks, and we had a lot of hard conversations. So I really enjoy the company. Now, the department that I was working in, so if you guys recall, I came in, I was desperate to get out of my paralegal role with a personal injury firm that I was working for in the Tampa Bay area, in St. Pete to be specific, and it was terrible. That is still one of like top 2 worst experiences I've ever had in the workforce in any role. And I just pounded the pavement and was getting the hell up out of there, period. I was going to go back to customer service. I was going to go back to whatever the hell to get up out of there. And so I shared with you guys before, I looked for non-traditional paralegal roles, and what that meant to me was they still ticked all of the things, or majority of the things that paralegals do. The job role just didn't say paralegal or legal assistant. And I came upon this position. I was in licensing on the compliance side of the legal house for where I work now, and it was interesting. So while my department, I didn't hate it. It wasn't my first choice, of course, and a lot of saving things was the fact that I did get to work from home. And because I got to work from home, a lot of the extra things that would probably turn me off about being in office and around these group of people that I worked with was immediately eliminated. And because you were at home in your own comforts and could go take a break, you know what I mean? I could go sit back on my bed and relax my back. You know, if something was aggravating me, you can disconnect that Teams call if somebody isn't understanding, which I don't recommend, but you know what I'm saying? And so I also feel like that made certain people in certain positions a little more forward and a little more crass because they weren't in your face telling you certain things. So that was a different dynamic. The department also, unbeknownst to me, was going through a lot of changes, and they required a lot of need from the higher ups in our company and higher support and things like that that they weren't getting. They were trying to get there, excuse me, but it wasn't happening fast enough. And what I mean by they had been trying to do blending efforts and other things to, because I work in insurance, so they had been trying to blend with the auto side of the house. I worked in property for 2 years. So that's a long time. So there were a lot of things going on, a lot of changes that were going on. And I said, you know what, let me take this year and kind of fill it out, see if I even like being here, see if I even want to move around or do other things. But I knew going into it that was not going to be my end all be all. And so I strive towards that. I put myself in efforts that would make me more suitable for where I was trying to go. I was transparent about that with my supervisor, and it just so happens that a legal role opened up in December. I applied for it and I actually ended up getting the position. So my current role now is legal assistant for house counsel on the BI side of the house, that's bodily injury. So I am a house counsel, legal assistant, and I'm excited. I'm very excited, but that transition has been super cool. I've enjoyed every drop of it. Getting back into filing again and drafting proceedings and seeing a case open to close, it has been new referrals coming in and things like that. It's just like, oh, now I'm back in my happy place. So I'm excited to be back here, but it doesn't take away from, I think, what I learned. What I knew for sure is that I wasn't going to stay in that department long term, and I'm just glad that I was able to move to a department that will continue to uphold my passions. What have I learned? So since graduating and since getting this position, I have learned 2 major things that I want you guys to kind of look into for yourselves. One, leave where you're not appreciated. If they're not appreciating your work, if they're not compensating you properly, you need to make an exit strategy and leave. Period. Everybody's circumstance is different. So of course, like I said, strategize, make an exit plan, bounce. but don't stay. It's not going to do anything but literally suck the life out of you. The second thing that I learned is you're going to have to move to get the compensation that you desire. So there may be some type of structure, and moving doesn't always mean jumping from job to job like I did. I started in one department. Our budget is not as great as our legal department budget, which means that and I did ask this question: what is the max amount of money that I'm expected to earn in this position currently? The numbers was not cute at all. So that also kind of motivated me to be like, okay, get your skill set and go head on. It could also be so that you're moving from a different job for a better opportunity, a better role, and that's okay too. But you have to move. You can't stay and be stuck in a position, especially if you're not being fulfilled. It's just not worth it in the long end. And those are the two biggest things that I have personally gained and personally learned, and I have actively put into practice. I knew within like 3 or 4 months in my previous role that this was not long-term for me. And I never set those expectations. In my one-on-ones, I was very clear about what I wanted to do, who I was as a person, what my dream pathway would be. And even though I wasn't always encouraged to do so, I made my own personal development plan, and I worked that thing out, and I'm gonna do it again. Okay. So so yeah. Another talking point I wanted to bring up is how to find opportunity. Now, I'm going to be talking about how to find the opportunity within your company, because it's a little different. And of course, these are going to range from different companies, because everybody's structure is not the same. But for the most part, corporate America, there are nuances, of course, and slight differences. But in corporate structure, the best way to look opportunity, of course, is your internal job board, but also getting on different opportunities. We have something that we call ERGs, and they're networking groups within our company for various different things. They have one for people of color, they have one for working women, they have one for LGBTQ plus community. They have a lot of ERGs, and it's basically, really just a sounding board for those like-minded people that have like-minded goals to kind of meet and discuss. And those people, when you network like that, they can put you on posts for different role opportunities that are either going to be posted to your internal job board or are already available. And that to me is super cool. So you have to network. I have a really big written down here is networking, and that's something that I wish that I would have done more in my schooling and just in life. You have to network. You're not going to get around networking. It's not possible. Even if you're online, you're still networking. So network as early as possible. Network within your company and utilize the tools that you have. It's a little bit different when you work for smaller firms or boutique law firms, because it's just y'all up in there. But look for other opportunities outside. Look for Facebook groups. Look for, I don't know if Instagram has groups. I know I have been a part of Facebook groups, so that's why I mentioned that. But you have to network. And within networking, there are a lot of opportunities, okay? So even internally though, look for opportunities to grow within your role if you want to stay with it, but also outside of that role as well. Now, in our structure, you should be working in tangent with your supervisor, but we all have had a hating supervisor now and again. Like my supervisor at BedX, I don't think he would have helped a damn thing for me to move on. You know what I'm saying? My supervisor in my previous role in this same company, I wouldn't consider her like a hater, but it was more advantageous for me to stay in that department because they had high overturn. So of course she was putting those things into perspective. And then saying, but whatever you want to do, I support you. But what does that look like? Are you actually supporting me? Or are you trying to pigeonhole me in this department? What's going on? But you should be working in tangent with your immediate supervisor. And I think the best way to do that, whether they're hating on you or supportive of you, is to just make your intentions clear and to keep bringing that up every opportunity that you get, that it makes sense. I like what I'm doing. I enjoy this, but I'm ready to get back to my true passion, and that is this. I would love to be assisting in here, and then look for opportunities to do that. We have something called a LEAP program where you can actually intern in a different position. You can intern in a different department, excuse me, so you can learn that department. You can shadow that department. So look for opportunities where you can, where you want to be. Oh my gosh, someone asked me, and that's why I brought it up, does anyone care about a degree? It depends. I think degrees are good when you're trying to get your foot into the door. I have personally found great value in holding a degree in my field. However, there are always loopholes to those situations. So the current role that I have now, I didn't get that role because I had a degree, because there were other requirements. In lieu of a degree, they required this, this, and this. And I actually applied for a legal position prior to, and my degree did not help me. I did not have the experience that they were asking for. And so I did not even get pushed to interview as an internal candidate. So I know that it's harder as an external candidate. So while I'm not dissing a degree, I just would also recommend looking for other opportunities to kind of beef up your degree. Interning to get experience. Utilize your interning, especially if you have the time. I worked 2 jobs and still was interning, whether if that could have been virtual or in person. I had a few attorneys that allowed me to intern actually on weekends. But interning to get the experience that they're requiring. I've seen someone comment under one of my videos to work as a outside contractor. I didn't even know that was a thing, but it is a thing. You can contract to hire for your paralegal services. But in the world, experience is king, which I think it has always been. And your degree should complement your experience. And it should be a good stepping stone to, of course, educate you on what you will likely be doing. But don't harp too much if you don't have the degree yet, but you have the experience. There's a woman that started with me, and she's been a paralegal for 12 years. For 12 years. And we don't have she don't have a degree. But her experience, she got in here at a higher level than I did, because of her experience and her exponential knowledge that she's bringing with her. So network and get the experience. Okay. Am I getting my paralegal certificate? No. I knew that though when I graduated. I took the class for it. I got the book for it. If any of you guys are in the state of Florida and are looking, are in the state of Florida and are considering taking the paralegal certificate test and want my book, drop down in the comments and let me know, because honey, you can have that. Corporate versus independent. I'm running out of time because I'm doing this on my lunch break, which is why I'm looking at this clock. But I just want to, and I speak about this often, being in a legal department for a corporate versus being in a boutique law firm or a smaller law firm is so different. It really blows my mind. Because of course we know in corporate, they're more likely to be sued. And a lot of these companies have been sued for discrimination and other things that they weren't upholding. So it has been so different. I told you guys when I left that law firm that I would never work for a boutique law firm again. ever. I would never work for a smaller attorney again. I had been done. But when you're fresh out of school, how do you get the experience? You don't always get to be pushed into, you know, a corporate legal office. Me, I had to come in on a different part of the legal department in order to move to the one that I wanted to do. So, but it is so different. And I would just say, weigh your options, make sure that you're choosing the best. But it is so crazy how different it is. And some people just work better under a corporate structure. There are some paralegals that I have met that don't work good under corporate structure as well. They like the, you know, I don't know. My department is really flexible. So I was about to say flexibility, but I think that depends on where you are. And even at BedX, they were really flexible with me as well. And that was in corporate, although I wasn't on the legal side. But I'm just saying, I've worked for some, you know, large corporations that were super flexible. But for various reasons. What works for one person might not work for the other. And what's, you know, but I personally do better in a corporate structure because there needs to be a hierarchy when something goes wrong. My issues with the smaller firm that I came for before I came to work for this company was just that. You're my problem and I have to go to you to fix it, and your ass don't know that you a problem. So I didn't like that. And it's just a whole different tone. It's a whole different tone, man. It just really is. It's a whole different tone. So it's very different. But if I had a preference, it's corporate for me. And that doesn't mean corporate is all shits and giggles and bubbly clouds and all that good stuff. Hell no. They got some issues around that thing too. But I haven't, it's not as bad. It's not as bad. So that wraps up today's video. That's my 1.5 update. Your girl slid about that. The Lord is good. Okay. And like I said in my vlog, I'm thankful. I'm grateful and thankful to be in this position. I'm very excited. I'm excited to be getting back to where I wanted to be, but it feels like, now that I'm like saying it out loud about like the time frame, girl, it feels like it was a long time, but really it didn't. Really it wasn't. Oh, and that's another thing. That's another thing, another big thing that I learned. Ask for what you want and bargain down to what you need. That's what I wish I would have done. So, all right, well, thank you so much for watching. I will see you guys soon. I wanted to break up the vlogs and do a sit down video and update you guys, but I'm so excited for this new opportunity that I'm currently in, and I'm loving the learning. I'm trying to stay focused, but my mind pops when I hear legal words. So legal jargon, I should say. So it hasn't been really hard, but I'm really excited. I'm just focused now on learning the systems. You got to get the systems down. So I will speak with you guys soon. You guys be blessed and be well, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Bye.